Talmor, Shishin Marachi. Talmor is my home. My family have worked the land for generations. My gran says the island does not belong to us, but we belong to the island. And we must be ready, for a great evil is coming, and death follows with it.
Listen and subscribe to the latest season of Undertow, The Harrowing, a Storyglass production presented by Realm, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
It was so bad. My agent, we sent her the video and she was like, I can't even send this in. I'm so sorry.
Hello, world, and welcome back to another episode of Thanks for Coming In. I'm your host, Jillian Clare. If this is your first time tuning in, hello and welcome. This is the show where I speak to fellow actors about their journey in this wild industry, and I make them share a few audition stories with me. We always have a lot of fun, and sometimes there's tears involved too, depending on how horrible the stories are. Today on the show, we have Kayden Muller-Janssen. She currently stars as Hartley in the Disney show The Villains of Valley View, which is a very cute show. If you haven't seen it yet, you should go watch it. Even if you don't have kids, just watch it because it's cute. And we also spoke about her music and a bunch of other stuff. So here's our conversation. And welcome to the show, Kayden.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here and talk about the show and everything.
I'm so excited to have you. I recently watched a couple episodes of your new television series, and it is so cute, and you are so adorable.
Thank you.
But before we get to that, I want to talk to you about what got you into this wild industry.
Oh, I think it was kind of a combination of things. Growing up, I just was always obsessed with TV. I was always constantly watching TV shows, movies. I was definitely a Disney kid growing up. All of the Disney movies, my mom had CDs and had that little foldable little computer. I forgot what it's called, but you'd put the CDs in and I'd literally be glued to it. Constantly always watching it. And I think it just got to a point in my life, I tried so many sports and extracurriculars and stuff like that, and music and acting is just what I connected to the most. And music also really helped me a lot throughout school. I got bullied pretty bad in middle school just because I was very big in myself. So acting and music was really a way for me to escape and almost express myself in a way, if that kind of makes sense. And yeah, I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to have a career path in this industry,
Which is great. And you're so young still. So it's amazing that you found this thing that brings you so much joy at such a young age. So many people search for it their entire lives. So this is amazing. So what was the first thing that you acted in? Was it a school play? How did this all start?
I think the first musical I ever did was Dear Edwina Jr. Oh my gosh, I played a cheerleader named Becky. And I remember I was so happy because my mom never let me be a cheerleader when we were younger. I got to do soccer, tennis, golf, everything. I was not allowed to be a cheerleader. So when I got that little role in the little musical, I was so happy about it, and I got to wear a little cheerleader outfit, and yeah, that really was doing rehearsals. I just remember that as a kid, and the day of the show, doing it in front of my family, I was just so happy, and I just wanted to do more of it, if that made sense.
It totally makes sense. I mean, there's something so infectious about being on the stage and getting to feel the audience response right there in front of you. It's
Exactly.
addicting. It's this weird,
Yeah.
like, high that you get of, like, oh my God, I'm making somebody feel something. This is amazing.
Exactly. That's exactly how I felt. And I think that's like what really made me like fall in love with live performances as well. Because, like acting on the show is kind of different because you still have people watching you, but you do so many takes. But when it comes to like theater, it's like you have one chance, like you've
Hmm.
been rehearsing for months, like this is your one shot. And I almost loved like the adrenaline rush of it.
No, totally. I mean, I do think it's like a major adrenaline kick. And especially, I don't know about you, but when I get on the stage, it's like I black out and all of the work that's been done is just cemented in my brain. So it just happens. And then you get off that stage and you're
Exactly.
like, wait, so did I do it?
No, literally, I remember like especially not Dear Edwina, but I did The Wizard of Oz, and oh my gosh, I was so bad. I got the role of Dorothy, which was amazing, and I just remember I was always rehearsing with the book, and I didn't memorize the whole thing except the day before.
Oh my
Don't
gosh.
judge me. I was in middle school. Don't judge me. It's like the middle school play, and I just remember the next day, like we do the show, and I just completely blacked out, like but I did all my lines right. But it's just like when you're in the moment and it's like that with the adrenaline and it's just
Hmm.
live and everything, you're just like, go, 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 go. And I almost think it's like so crazy that as humans we're able to do that, like put on a show for an hour and memorize all of these things. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. To me, that's crazy. I don't know how
No,
we do
it's
it.
totally wild. It's wild that you like completely black out, become this other person for an hour, 2 hours, however long the show is, and then you come back to yourself afterwards and you're just like, "Whoa, that was cool. What was
Yeah,
that? That was
exactly.
interesting. I'm back in my
Yeah,
own body
exactly.
now."
I mean, that's what I love about being an actress too. I mean, it's just so cool to kind of, I don't know, like disassociate yourself
Hmm.
from the character and you become that character, if that makes sense, and just experience this whole different life and see life in like a total different point of view, if that makes sense. And I don't know,
Yeah.
I just being an actress is so cool. We're
It
lucky.
is. It's really cool. Okay, so how did you get into like the professional side of acting? You found your love in school. So what was that transition for you?
So, oh, let me think about this. Okay, so I went to a school of the arts in middle school. The director of the school had this showcase camp that they did in LA, and
Hmm.
they gave me an invitation to go, and it was a 5-day camp where you pick a script and find which one you love best, and you practice that for 5 days, and at the end of the fifth day, like the agents and managers and a bunch of random people come, you do your thing and see if they want to rep you pretty much. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I started. I know everybody's kind of different, but I was lucky that it kind of just fell into place, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. I mean, I kind of went from theater to just going to that showcase camp, and then of course I took acting classes and stuff in
Right.
between. But I mean, once we went there, I met a few different people, and then I met the Savage Agency, which is my agents now, and I've been
Yeah.
with them ever since I believe I was like 13, turning 14. Yeah. So I've been with them ever since.
I mean, that's a very popular way, especially for child actors to break in the industry. I mean, when I was a kid, I went to IMTA, which was like this big showcase talent weekend in New
Hmm.
York, and it's the same thing. All the people would come, they'd see you, and then hopefully you'd get signed and you'd be
Yeah.
off on your next adventure. So I
Yeah.
feel like that's like a pretty standard way of child actors at least entering the industry. And it's interesting because
Yeah.
I don't know. It's always weird to me to listen to the stories of like adults entering it because I'm like, what is that like? How
Yeah,
did
I'm
you
kind
do
of
that?
curious because, like, for me, it just like was. No, I'm not gonna say easy, but like kind of, you know what I mean? Like when you're a kid, they say
Right.
it's easier to like market you in the industry and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Like you start young, but then when it like comes to older people, I'm like, do you guys do showcases? Do you like
Yeah.
reach out? I don't know. I need to ask. I should
I
have
think we
asked
need
my
to ask people.
castmates.
Yeah.
I know for sure, but I mean, even my castmates, like the Lucy Davis and James, they both started when they were pretty much very young.
Yeah.
I mean, James started when he was 11, and Lucy pretty young as well. So it's just like I don't know. Most of the people that I've met in the industry have actually started at a young age. I want to meet somebody who's like started like later on, like
Yeah.
at like 30 or something, and be like, how was your experience?
Yes, I've had some people on the show that started at like a later time and had a total different career before this. And it's so
Oh,
interesting
really?
to like hear kind of like their transition because it's so different
Yeah,
from what we've experienced.
for sure. That's so
Anywho,
cool.
um
Sorry.
no, sidetracked. Okay, so you sign with Savage.
Yeah.
You start going on auditions.
Yeah.
How long until you hit the jackpot with the Villains of Valley View?
Oh gosh, what was this? So it took 6 years for me
Yeah.
to finally book my big role. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't have had it any other way because you know, I feel like it's almost good like that I didn't book a job then just because I feel like I wasn't mentally ready for that, if that makes sense. Like now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm 20, I'm at a place in my life where I can really take care of myself. I know right from wrong, all of that. And I'm just kind of, I don't know, with this role, it kind of felt like everything was meant to be, if that makes sense. Like it was the
Mm.
right time, right place, like, and, and it was perfect. I mean, I've auditioned for, oh my gosh, many things over the years. And I've gotten very, very, very close. But I mean, my mom always told me, she was like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And I always try to keep that mentality and not let it get to me too much. Because, like when you do so many auditions and you get so close and like you see so many of the same girls too. I mean,
Yep.
I've competed against a lot of the same girls who have the same looks as me. It's just like it got me real kind of down between that times. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'd get really sad and think it was about myself, but then my mom would keep me going. Would just be like, if it's meant to be, it'll fall into place. Just keep working hard, do what you're doing, and 6 years later, it finally happened, and I'm so happy about it. I mean, it's awesome. I'm like on the Disney Channel at 20. I mean, it's a pretty cool thing to say.
I mean, yeah, it's amazing. Most people would kill to be on the Disney Channel, and you have done it, which is great.
No,
It's a
I'm
huge
still kind of,
accomplishment.
yeah, I'm still kind of in shock. I mean, every single time somebody asks me, they're like, "What is it like to be on Disney and like get this role?" I'm like, uh, amazing. It's like almost no words. Like I grew up watching Disney Channel and
Yeah.
watching like these iconic
The
stars doing
wand.
their wands. Yes,
Yep.
exactly. And I got to do that. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then now I'm getting comments from like kids who used to be like me and saying that they're looking up to me, and I'm like, me? I'm like, you're telling you know what I mean? So it's really, I'm still kind of processing it all, but I mean, I'm so grateful that I had this opportunity and I got to learn so much, and I'm excited to see what's still coming. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You have so much ahead of you. But I mean, Villains of the Valley is so fun. I want to know, though, are you upset that you don't get to have powers? Because I'd be a little upset that I don't get to have powers.
You know, I won't say that I'm upset. I will say sometimes I am a little jealous of all the cool stunts they get to do. I'm just kidding. I don't get jealous, but I will say some of the stuff that they get to do with their powers and stuff is epic.
It's so
And I was
cool.
telling the writers, I was like, can't Hartley just get hurt like a little bit? Can't you just fly me on a wire? Like I am very coordinated. I can do this. I promise. Like I mentioned it many of times. So hopefully, in season 2, they either,
Season 2.
yeah, whether it's powers or stunts or flying across the room after
Yeah.
getting hit with power, I don't care what it is. I'm so ready for it. But I mean, I feel like it'd also be like cheesy for Hartley to get powers too. I will say
Totally.
that because it's like I feel like the best friend always eventually ends up getting powers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want it to be like people guess it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like maybe Hartley will just be the cool one who just always ends up being in the way, like with no powers or something like that. But no, Hartley's pretty cool though.
How would you say you and Hartley connect? I mean, you seem like a very bubbly and energetic and positive person, and Hartley is very much so that. So are you
Oh
just
yeah.
being you on that screen? Are you projecting yourself into her?
Oh, for sure. I would say it's definitely a version of me amplified. I mean, I'm very energetic and love to talk. I'm a people person, but I definitely wouldn't say I'm like, hello, everybody in the world, but, which is great. Like, there's nothing bad about that. But, I'm a bit older now, and
Yeah.
Hartley's a bit on the younger side. But, when I first read the script, I really I just connected with her because I felt like she was a lot like my younger self, if that makes sense. I mean, she just, not that she's naive, but she doesn't like to see the bad in people. She's only
optimistic.
Really, exactly. She only likes to see the good, and really believes that anybody with a little bit of love and care can really be a good person. And I mean, I love that because that's exactly how I felt when I was a kid. I always saw the good in people. And, I got to a point in my life where I saw a little bit of the bad people, and then I kind of live and learned a little bit. So I think, the only difference between me and Hartley is that I've kind of seen a little bit of the bad side of people. But, later on in the season coming up, I think she might get a little hint of what a bad person can really be like. So
there's a little niblet there, people. Everybody, listen to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
As a podcast network, our focus is bringing you shows you love to listen to. But we also sell merch related to those shows. And partnering with Shopify has made that both possible and simple for us to do. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor adventures, Shopify helps you sell everywhere because they've got you covered, from their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system. What's so fantastic about Shopify is how, no matter how big you want to grow, they provide everything you need to get control of your business so you can take it to the next level. Businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm. That's all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/realm.
You can shop from anywhere doing pretty much anything. You might shop while working, eating, or even listening to this podcast. And however you shop, we all know and love the thrill of the hunt. But do you also know how to get the thrill of the best deals? Because Rakuten shoppers do. With Rakuten, they get the deals they love with the most savings and cash back. And you can get it too. Start getting cash back at your favorite stores like Sephora, Nike, and even Expedia if you're looking to get some travel in. And getting cash back doesn't mean you have to miss out on sales, because those can just be stacked right on top. It's easy to use and based on a simple idea. Stores pay Rakuten for sending them shoppers, and Rakuten shares the money with you as cash back through PayPal or check. Download the free Rakuten app and never miss a deal. Or go to Rakuten.com to start getting the most bang for your buck. That's Rakuten.
So let's talk a little bit about your singing, because not only are you starring on a television show right now, because, that only takes a little bit of your time, you are also recording so many songs and releasing things back to back. How? And
I don't even know. I don't even know how I've been doing it. I was like, I'm trying to juggle the whole acting and music thing at the same time. But I mean, I love them both so much. I mean, I started singing before I started acting. It kind of eventually just came hand in hand. So I would say that, music was my first true love. And it, as I was saying before, was really a way for me to express myself and my feelings. And I kind of found out that I could have kind of could come up with songs and start writing lyrics and stuff in middle school, when I was just kind of like, I didn't have that many friends. I was kind of a loner and really just wrote how I felt in a notepad. And eventually I went to LA, met my agent. They got me in contact with the manager on the music side. They put me in the studio with my producer, Dustin Atlas. And that's when Kiss Kiss Baby and No Maybe were made when I was 13. Not a lot of people know that. I was 13 at that time. Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of all how it started. I mean, I gone to the studio and I never looked back. I mean, the writing process and just creating music in the studio, I was like, this is where I'm meant to be. This is great. And I loved making songs. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. Like the feeling you get when you sing, it's just so like powerful and has this like wave of release, if that makes sense. I don't know.
I get it. I get it. It's like when you sing, it's so much easier to sing your feelings than to say them to somebody. Like saying your feelings, saying your truth is so difficult and it's so hard. But if you can sing it, it's like this release in your heart where you're just like, oh, thank God, I feel a weight lifted.
Exactly. See, I'm terrible with words sometimes. I'm like,
I got you. Like, I'll be your translator.
Exactly. That's perfect. Because I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. I mean, it's just, that's why I feel so lucky that I'm able to do this as my day-to-day job. I mean, I'm so happy to do it, if that makes sense, and to be able to express myself and have other people hear that and hopefully inspire them to do the same. It's a blessing. I feel very grateful for life right now.
I mean, and that's kind of our jobs as artists, right? It's like we have to always be inspiring the next generation. Yeah. And you're clearly doing that, which is so fun to see.
Hope so. Thank you.
So on this show, we like to share audition stories. Now, those can be the bad ones. They can be the sad ones. They can be the one that got away. Is there a story or stories that you would like to share with the listeners?
Oh, Lordy. I have a few. I'm trying to think. I'm like, okay, this one's like not terrible, but I will say, I remember my first self-tape I ever had to do, right after I signed with the Savage Agency, and it was for the Wrinkle in Time remake.
Oh,
and
wow.
Storm Reid, the girl from Euphoria as well, and from the Wrinkle in Time, she ended up booking it, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I actually love that she got it, but I literally, when I tell you, it was the first self-tape me and my mom ever had to do. And we didn't I don't know if you've ever had like the first self-tape experience where it's just like terrible. The setup's terrible. You have a sheet, terrible lighting.
When I did my first self-tape, you couldn't even record on cell phones. You had to get out your digital camera and go against your closet wall. Like, it was bad.
Exactly. We had to go to Best Buy and get one of those cameras and the tripods, and I can't even send this in. I'm so sorry. It was that bad. She literally said it and I was like, holy crap. I was like, okay.
It's a new level of bad.
Yeah, it was really bad. So my mom ended up doing a lot of research and found this lady about 25 minutes away from us who had a really good setup, and she would do the auditions with me and stuff. But that was so bad. I would say that was it wasn't the in-person audition, but that was the first kind of big weird mess up. And then oh gosh, I've had a few. I mean, sometimes I get so nervous on the auditions, I just blank. I just don't know, and the paper is in front of me. I mean, I remember it was something for Disney. I don't remember what project exactly. I think it was maybe a movie. And I just remember I had a callback. And I was at the Disney building in Los Angeles. I'm a picture person. I remember everything in pictures. Yeah. So just visualize this.
I got you. I see it. Is it the one on Olive? Are we looking at a green and white building?
Yes, that one where Radio Disney is and everything. Yep. Yes. So that was the building, I think it's 25th, 26th floor, something like that. Mm-hmm. I just remember sitting in the waiting room, just scared crapless. You know what I mean? I'm just there, shaking. I'm trying to memorize all my lines. I'm just oh my God. And I think that had to be probably one of my second, third callbacks. I was still pretty brand new. And I go in and I'm I'm doing good. And then they say a line and I'm
oh no.
then I just made that noise where just nothing was coming out. And I had the paper in front of me. And I looked down and I'm just like, and I was just like, and then I was really scared because, you know, they always say, like, never start over. Just, like, keep going. Like get back into the characters. I couldn't. I was frozen. So I kind of was just like, and I waited for them to say something, which was probably like a minute and a half, with just like silence of like, can you please just like tell me whether you're going to kick me out of the room or tell me to go again? And thank God they let me go again. Ended up stumbling and doing the same thing, but kind of kept going after, and, you know, didn't hear back, but that's okay.
Hey, you ended up as a lead on a Disney show, so I think it's okay.
Yeah.
I think it's okay. I think it worked out.
Yeah. It's just things like that just are traumatizing when you have to think back and you just like, you cringe. Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. But I think that changes when, as you get older, like, your ability and your confidence grows, and when you do mess up now, it's like, all right, well, now what? Here we go. Let's keep moving.
For sure. I mean, I would definitely say now compared to then, I mean, I'll get a little bit of butterflies, but I always think it's a good thing because it means you're excited about what you're doing.
It means you're connected.
Exactly. If you didn't have butterflies, you're not living what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's what my mom always said. If you're not nervous, there's something wrong.
So true.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of happy I had those experiences though, because you live and you learn. And I mean, now I feel like I can go in a room and knock it out. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. And I think too, like, you know, experience just teaches you how to like make fun of yourself in those situations as well, where it's like, oh, I messed that up. Huh? Okay. Let's just, can we want to start over? You want to go again? You want to go from here? Where do you want to do? Yeah. It's just like, how do we do this?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's just kind of also a part of life. I mean, not even just in the industry and everything. I mean, you go through these certain things in life that I feel like are life lessons, and you need to go through these things and these embarrassing moments and these stumbles and these mistakes just so you can come out better in the end. And yeah, I've done some embarrassing things in my life, but I will say in the end of the day, it's made me a better person.
We love that. Love that. Well, one of the last things I want to ask you, or I guess the last thing I'm going to ask you, is you're on this great path right now. Where do you see your future? What do you want to accomplish either as an actor, a singer, maybe on the other side of the camera? What's on the vision board for, like, let's say the next, like, 10 years?
I mean, I don't know, this might sound cheesy, but I just want to work meet as many people as possible, work on as many projects as possible. I want to tour the world. I mean, try all types of foods, see all types of places, perform my music. I mean, that's like, I don't know, that's my life purpose. I feel like, I just feel like in my heart, that's what I'm meant to do. And I'm trying to work towards that, if that makes sense. So hopefully 10 years from now, definitely touring the world and hopefully on the big screen someday. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Oh, man. It's been so fun to talk to you. Where can people follow you on social media to keep up with all of your music and all of your movies and shows?
So all of my social media handles are Kayden Muller, and then my YouTube is just Kayden. But I mean, everything's on my website at kaydenmuller.com, like all the links and stuff. So if you go to kaydenmuller.com, you'll find everything you need.
Oh, great. Thank you so much for being on the show. I am so excited to see what you do in the future, and I can't wait to see the rest of the Villains of the Valley.
Honestly, me too, because we're only halfway through, and I need to see the next few episodes. But seriously, thank you so much for having me. I mean, I had a great time talking about everything.
It's been a blast. Thanks again to Kayden for coming on the show and talking with me and sharing those stories. It was so great to meet her. If you're not watching The Villains of Valley View, then you should be watching it because it's a super cute show. And they just got picked up for season 2, which is fantastic. Congratulations, Kayden, and everybody on the show. That's so exciting. Tune in next week. We'll have Derek Brady, who is one of the stars of the hit series Johnson on Bounce. You can go watch episodes from the first season and catch up now on that before next week's episode. If you're not subscribed to the show, do that wherever you're listening to it, and make sure to leave us some love. And as always, thanks for coming in.
Hi, I'm Alexis Ohanian. You may know me as one of the co-founders of Reddit, but more recently, a large part of my identity is being a father to my 2 wonderful daughters. In my podcast, Business Dad, I'm hoping to open up the conversation about balancing careers and family. The one thing I constantly hear successful people say, without fail, is that they wish they'd spent more time with their kids. That's time no one can get back. So I decided to create Business Dad, to engage in the conversation about how we're spending our time now, providing a forum for successful dads to share their joys and challenges of being a working parent. You'll get to hear from a wide range of business dads, from Rainn Wilson and Guy Raz to Todd Carmichael and Shane Battier. And while this podcast will talk about business and will definitely be featuring dads, I think everyone can learn something from these incredible conversations as we unpack the expectations we all have about careers, relationships, and ourselves. Business Dad is available now, so be sure to listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.